It does put it away for the Panthers as far as the team victory goes. We have 2 matches left, but 2 falls won't make a difference for Illinois as we head to 141. 13th ranked Cole Matthews, redshirt senior, 3-2 on the season, 88-29 for his career, taking on Danny Pucino, redshirt sophomore, 2-2, 32-16 in his career. Matthews did beat Pucino last year in this dual meet. Pucino gets in on the ankles.
Matthews, one of the best scramblers, though, we've come. There's a potentially dangerous whistle there. He's able to get himself out of some very dangerous positions, and that's one of the reasons why he's been so highly ranked over his time as a Panther.
A defensive wrestler, but hard to score on.
And that was one of the questions I was interested to see if Cole Matthews, with rule changes, a 3-point takedown, and so forth, would he change his style? And really, it doesn't appear that that's going to be the case. He may be working on some things, but Cole's going to continue to have this defensive style. Still going to be hard to score against.
Yeah, it's tough to change your style when you've wrestled as long as Cole has, and just trying to tweak some things, get him in some better positions. At the end of the day, probably see more of what we've seen from Cole. Now, he's had a tough year. Obviously, 2 losses to start the year off. Gets himself outside of the top 10. A guy who was at one point ranked #1 last year in the NCAA, and has to just fight his way back through. But tell you what, if you're Cole Matthews, Keith Gavin, the rest of the Pitt team, take those losses early. You want to get your stride in January and February and get yourself ready for March and wrestling well.
Exactly right, Greg. Yeah, you want to peak at the end there. Cole, back-to-back ACC championships. He had that 5th place finish in the 2022 NCAAs.
So when the lights are brightest, that's when you want to be at your best.
Oh, with that said, definitely a big match here for Cole Matthews just to get back on track. And for Pucino, you want to try to climb those rankings, so this is one way to do it.
Yeah, great opportunity for Pucino. You're exactly right. We've talked about the Panthers wrestlers picking up some top 25 wins today. This is a chance for Pucino from the Illini
to pick up a really nice win.
These early wins, too, can kind of be confidence building. Both teams, not a ton of activity. There'll be some holiday tournaments that come up as you look to try to really set the base here as you move into the heart of your schedule in 2024.
And to 1, no score. Matthews will go on the bottom for the second period.
And Greg, that to me is a classic Matthews period, right? I mean, he's just going to kind of grind it out, force you to come to him. He wants to take it into the second and third, especially when he can get on top. That's really where he's at his best.
A quick escape for Cole Matthews.
And some of his matches almost seem boring when you're watching Cole Matthews, but he's just so tough to really get offense in. And even when you do, we saw Pucino was in really deep. Matthews is able to find a way to get out of it.
He's got the underhook, and Pucino wants no parts of that.
And I really think Cole could really be the key to this Panthers lineup. I mean, obviously he's shown the ability ascending to #1, as you mentioned. He probably has the highest ceiling out of anybody on this team right now, just based on what we've seen in the past. A chance for the Panthers really to do well in the ACC tournament and then ultimately in the NCAAs. They finished 22nd last year, but a lot of that was a result of Nino Bonacorsi's championship. As Cole now trying to swing around. But if the Panthers can place 8 guys in the tournament this year. You get a couple guys break through, that's when you really start to think about, can this be a top 15, a top 20, a top 10 national tournament team?
With the young guys they have, it's an opportunity. They can surprise some folks here early on in the season and build up some of that credibility and get themselves in position for good seed. 1-0 here for Matthews, and Pucino going to go neutral to begin the third period.
Not unsurprising. That's become a commonality really against wrestlers when they face Cole Matthews, is they don't want to go on bottom.
Nice reshot there from Matthews. Just got a little bit lower than Pucino did, and Matthews unable to finish, though. Good job by Pucino. Whenever he dropped from the leg to go to the body, that's able to face him.
So Matthews now has that 1-point lead. I don't know if it's easier to escape, or here's Pucino get into the offense, and he got the 3-point takedown. So my question was answered before I even asked it, Greg. It's clearly Puccino's strategy of not going on bottom paid off.
Yeah, he was going for that the ankle, and I think because Matthews was looking for an attack of his own, he's able to get them both and just couldn't really defend it. Which is hard to believe, right? Because I feel like Matthews is always scrambling to figure out a way to not give up a takedown, but he did there, and now he's going to have to get some offense going here under a minute to go.
Matthews coming in, but a lot of straight-on offense. Puccino's able to snuff it out.
Well, pushing into Pucino, and there's a first stall call. So he's going to have to stay inside, as now Matthews, 25 seconds. It's not a real clean shot. Pucino again is trying to stay in position as Matthews drives in. Under 10 to go. And Matthews is going to get the stall call late with 1 second to go. Boy, you rarely see that stall call happen with 1 second left, but that's what we get, and now we're tied at 3 and headed to overtime.
And I think that's a good call. I mean, Cole Matthews, his attack rate was unbelievable there. And while you don't see it often called, I think it is the correct call there, Greg.
You got to wonder now, if you're Matthews, how much you got left in the tank. Pucino in on the legs, and there's a takedown. Pucino is going to get the 6-3 overtime win over Cole Matthews.
Matthews slams the headgear down. Greg, I think he just used so much energy there trying to chase down that takedown at the end of the third period. Got to wonder how much he had left in the tank there to start that sudden victory period.
Yeah, he left it all on the mat there in that third, just